Hey kitties and kitten lovers, I'm Akushi and welcome to Wow, this chick sure loves talking about her fursuit work, part 2! In case you haven't seen part 1, where I covered the first 4 fursuits that I made, it's linked at the end card or up there on the little eye icon in the corner. Anyway, let's talk about suits 5 to 9. Also at the end of this video, I will talk about my current projects and whips and what fursuits are planned in the near future. Let's go! This video starts like the first one, with an Akushi suit. In early 2020, I started working on Akushi 3.0 as a school project, and to this day, she's my least favorite suit I ever made and the only one that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that's right, sad but true. But let's start with the basics. At first she was a partial, with a head, 2 tails, a pair of puppy paws and a pair of arm sleeves. After I turned her in as my school project, I added a pair of feet paws and a bodysuit, making her my first ever full suit. But I just tried way too hard with her. I wanted her to be perfect, so I didn't have to keep remaking her. But that was exactly what led to my failure. Especially with the foam head. I kept changing things and adding more and more layers to get the shapes right, which led to her ending up way too heavy to wear because she consisted of like 90% hot glue. The head featured my signature magnetic hair, a pair of magnetic eyelets, and magnets in the muzzle so I could position her tongue as shown in these photos. All those magnets also played into her heavy weight. I think the suit also suffered from the pandemic. You know, I could never throw away Akushi 1.0 or 2.1 because there are many memories attached to them. But since I only visited one convention and like one fursuit walk with Akushi 3.0 and was stuck in lockdown for the rest of the time, I got annoyed and ashamed of her. On the brighter side, she was the first head I made with more stable ears. My first 4 heads all had ears that were made of just upholstery foam. This time I added foamies to the ears, giving them more stability. Just wanted to throw this in here for the sake of completeness. The only suit parts I still kinda like are the 2 tails, hence why I still use them to this day, and the puppy paws, which I also used a long time after Akushi 3.0 was destroyed. I used mid-quality minky from Kulalu for her details and high-quality fur for everything else. Echo Shack from Big Z Fabrics to be precise. There isn't much else to say about her, honestly. One of the tails is again a moving tail with a pool noodle wire core, just like the one I mentioned in my first video. The other one is a regular plush tail. The hand paws were made with the same pattern as Toxic Fox, just with a few adjustments. The feet paws were made the same way as Akushi 2.0's, I just tried out a different shape of the paw. Just like the head, the feet paws were scrapped eventually. The arm sleeves still exist, but I gave them to a friend who has a red fursona himself, because I didn't really use them anyway. I'm currently trying to rework the bodysuit a little, but to be honest, I won't be sad if my attempt fails. And that's about it. This was kind of a downer, right? Well then, let's continue with the way more lovable Tamu. Tamu, formerly known as Spotty, was my second pre-made suit. After finishing Akushi 3.0, I still had a lot of red, white and some other fur left, so I decided to get rid of some of that, while also making some money by making another pre-made suit. As I did with Astrum, I asked my Instagram followers which species I should make. Then I picked my 4 favorites from there and made a poll about which one to make. Deer technically won that poll, but since there was a tie between deer and fox for the most time, I decided to make a deer-fox hybrid. So I pulled up my trusty turnaround ref base and started designing a character with that species and the fur colors that I wanted to get rid of. And this is what I came up with. I started building right away, and since I didn't want to repeat my mistake, This time I dialed down on my perfectionism and came up with a base that I still like to this day. In my opinion, Tamu is the first suit I made where you can see an actual building style. I tried out the fluff cheeks again and this time it worked out. Success! The ears are made with foamies again to give them more stability compared to plain foam ears. His antlers are magnetic because everything I do has to be magnetic, but he also has another special feature that I do on every suit nowadays. A Velcro removable tongue. This way the tongue can be positioned however you like, it can be taken out for even better ventilation, or it can be swapped for another tongue with a different length or a different color. Tamu also features the first ever nubtail I made. In case you have already checked out the nubtails on my Etsy shop, yep, that's the same pattern. There's nothing special about Tamu's paws, except for that I did the paw pads very weirdly. As you can see in the pictures, they are stuffed first and then applied to the fur, which creates this weird theme. I guess I was going for a kind of plush look or something, but I don't know, it's kinda cute and kinda ugly. Also, first appearance of my signature heart-shaped paw pads, so yay! Also, since I'm pretty sure that someone will bring it up in the comments, yes, his wrists are the colors of the Russian flag. No, that wasn't intentional. I sometimes wish that I designed them differently, but I didn't. But regardless, Russia doesn't own these colors and Tamu's owner still loves the paws. Speaking of Tamu's owner, I put the suit up for sale in February of 2021 and he got sold to a mutual, now friend, of mine. That's why you still see him a lot on my Instagram. Also, not so fun fact, my sales pictures for Tamu actually got stolen and uploaded to the dealer's den. So in case you ever wondered why I put so many watermarks on my fursuit showcases nowadays, that's why. And that's everything I wanted to say about Tamu. If you'd like to see more of him, go follow Dandelioner on Instagram or Dandelion Suits on TikTok. Next up, who else could it be? Akushi! Again! Yay! Yeah, this is the fourth and to this day last version of Akushi, Akushi 4.0. After I finished Tamu, I was even more sure that I had to remake Akushi again. I wanted to become active on TikTok, but I couldn't stand Akushi 3.0 anymore. So naturally, I once again proved that I have zero impulse control and started working on Akushi 4.0's foam head base. Just to avoid any confusion, when I speak about Akushi 4.0, I'm only referring to the head. All the other suit parts I kept from Akushi 3.0 at least for a while. Of course, I eventually made new hand paws, but only in February 2022, so I still used the old ones for almost a year. Also, I added a nubtail to my tail collection and it's my favorite of the bunch now. Since I realized that I pressured myself way too much with Akushi 3.0, I didn't aim for perfection this time. All I wanted to achieve was a better version of Akushi 2.1 and a head that was closer to my art style at the time. And what can I say? I think I succeeded. I think Akushi 4.0 turned out incredibly cute and I love her dearly. She took me about 60 hours of work, by the way. I used a time tracker app as I built her. I wanted to give her the same special features as her predecessor. She has the magnetic hair, of course, and also the tongue magnet. And technically she also has the base for the eyelids, but I didn't build them to this day. Of course, the tongue is Velcro removable as well, and the ears are built with foamies to give them stability. Sadly though, as soon as my latest fur order arrives, I'll have to refurb her, because she has some mistakes that start to break sadly. It bummed me out honestly, but that's the reality of a frequently used fursuit, I guess. We'll see how that goes. Best case, she'll look even prettier than before. I'm optimistic. Kinda. I'm pretty scared of messing her up, but that's very unlikely. And still, I already get nervous just thinking about it. Wish me luck! And with that, let's talk about my second ever fursuit commission, Montis the Grey Cat. After I finished Akushi 4.0, my friend Max asked me to build one of his personas, Montis, an adorable little cat that fits my style perfectly. I can't tell you what fur I used this time because Max had already ordered it himself, but I switched out my mid-quality minky for high-quality minky from stoffhummel.de. I swear, it's the softest fabric I ever felt. I love it so much. When I finished Montis, I couldn't stop putting my hand in his mouth because it felt so nice. No joke. So I highly recommend buying from Stoffhummel if you live in Europe and you need high quality minky. This is not sponsored, by the way, I just love the products. Anyway, since I just finished a cat fursuit, the building process was pretty straightforward. Montis' base looks very similar to Akushi 4.0's. He just is a little smaller and has a better smile and a different eyebrow shape. He has a Velcro removable tongue like the others, but this time I sewed the Velcro to the minky inside the muzzle instead of hot gluing it like I did before. This makes it way more durable. Speaking of sewing instead of gluing, with Montis I sewed the inside of the mouth to the fur. Every head before him, I glued down the inside of the mouth first and then folded the fur and glued it on top. Obviously, sewing turns out way cleaner and I wish I had started this earlier. Also, since I do something new for every head I make, Montis is my first head with EVA foam ears. If you don't know what EVA foam is, it's similar to foamies, but it's higher quality and it comes in different thicknesses. I use 5mm EVA foam for my ears and I love how that works. I personally don't like thick ears on fursuits and that's why I try to keep them as thin as possible. For Montis I used only the EVA foam for the ears, but in hindsight that turned out a little too thin. Nowadays I use the EVA foam and glue on a 1cm thick sheet of upholstery foam to give the ears shape, and that works perfectly for me. Montis hand paws use my standard 4-finger puffy paw pattern, but they turned out a little bigger than usual. I'm not exactly sure why, but it fits the character, so all good. This is the first time I used the paw pad applique method that, for example, Nefertiti shows in her puffy paw tutorial. I'm pretty sure she didn't invent it, but this was the first time I saw it. No matter what, I love this technique and I still use it to this day. His tail is just plush, like most of my tails are. I think the only thing worth mentioning here is that this was my first time making a cat tail with the S shape in it. Also, in case you wondered how I do my belt loops, the tail base is made out of fake leather and I use elastic straps for the loops. This is how it looks at the end. I think this is everything important about Montis. I gotta say, I really love this suit and I'm glad that he belongs to a friend so I can see him from time to time. If you'd like to see more of him, follow me on Instagram, honestly. Max doesn't really post suit pictures, but he's an amazing artist, so I'll link his account in the description regardless. We have arrived at the last suit of this video! Yay! Let me introduce you to my latest commission, Lyric the Goat Raccoon Hybrid. Yeah, we kinda got a grey thing going on with my commissions, don't we? Just look at this grumpy little goblin, didn't they turn out absolutely adorable? I love everything about this suit. They're not only my latest but also my favorite of all that I made so far. And I think they are my most detailed suit as well. As you may have guessed by now, Lyric's owner and I are close friends. We actually finalized the design together and this is what their final official turnaround looks like. Unlike most of my suits, Lyric will get a full bodysuit eventually, but we have to wait with this a little due to personal reasons. So let's just stick with the mini partial, shall we? There are 2 points I want to talk about with this head. Everything else is just the same as my other heads. Magnetic hair, velcro tongue, minky details. First of all, the ears. I never met ears like that before, but I love the shape. I referenced the ear shape of Fursuits' deer head pattern, but I still made mine myself. Fursuits tutorial just gave me an idea of what to do. Basically, you cut out a round base out of EVA foam and then glue the actual ear around it, creating that tube-like shape. I added a sheet of 1 cm upholstery foam to the back of the EVA foam ear, and boom! Perfect goat ear. Second of all, the horns. It was my first time making horns like this. Tamu's antlers were made out of minky, but this time I used fake leather. The horns themselves were pretty easy to make, but since they're magnetic, because of course they were a pain to get to sit right on the head. Also, the acrylic paint I used at my first attempt wouldn't stick to the horns, so next I tried to make the stripes out of felt strips and hot gluing them on. That worked at first, but at Lyric's first con outing, they all fell off one after another. So as a last resort, I tried using leather paint, and wouldn't you know it, it worked! The paint would stick to the horns and didn't leave a sticky residue like the acrylic paint did. Success! For this suit I ordered fur from Howl Fabric, and I'm obsessed. Howl has the most different colors that I've seen so far in any fur shop, and the quality is outstanding. Lyric's hooves were made with the same pattern as Astrom's. As I said in the first part, I kept the pattern to this day. Also, I'm really proud of those star markings. It turned out incredibly clean. The tail is just plush, and fun fact, the shape is actually based on Montis' tail, just a thicker version of it. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about this bean. As I promised at the beginning of this video, a little suit update at the end here. The suit for my second Persona Escape is getting close to completion. His tail and paws are already done, his head still needs to be furred. Also, he is technically my 9th suit and Lyric is my 10th if you count in the order I made the bases in. When he's finished, I may or may not start some new video series on this channel, but we'll see. I'm also currently working on my next pre-made, this spooky pumpkin cat. I can't wait to see whether or not I can make them like I envisioned them. If you're interested in maybe buying them when they're finished, follow my Instagram, check out my Etsy shop. They will be posted there. It will take me some more time though. With my next fur order, I will get the fur for 2 of my next personal suits. My 3rd Persona Elsa and my OC Shot the Bunny. I'm so excited to make them, but they will take me some time because I still need to make money through other projects. Elsa's paws are already done though. Aren't they stunning? I'm obsessed with this snowflake minky. I got it, wouldn't you know it, from stoffhummel.de. It was a limited run 2 years ago, and I got one of the last few meters that were available. I also have 2 bodysuits and a bunch of feet paws on my to-do list, so my commissions probably won't open this year. In general, I'm not sure anymore whether or not I should open for public commissions. I struggle very heavily with imposter syndrome, so I'm much more comfortable making suits for friends and mutuals and making pre-mates. But we'll see. Phew! You made it through this humongous 2-parter. Congrats! As a little treat, I present you the shameless plug at the end. All my social medias and the accounts of the various suit owners are linked in the description, and my Etsy shop is open too. I would love for you to check it out, and maybe you could add my shop to your favorites or even buy something. It would mean the world to me. In case you need a pair of super cute 4-finger puffy paws with galaxy paw pads, I coincidentally have a pre-made pair available. Also, if you have ideas or wishes for the next videos, please tell me in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Now I guess all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Love you. Bye! Speaking of sewing instead of glue...